Alright, welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review Part 40. This I'm covering episode 681 to 693. Yep. This one, in case you're curious though, is there any plot threads wrapped up this one? Well, I think there's one. Yes, just one I can tell. Though at least it starts some plot threads, several of them. Oh my gosh. Yes, so there's like many things going on here. Like, and we also have debut new characters. Well, there's technically one plot thread that is wrapped up here. Yes, and that is basically Kinemon looking for Kanjuro. Yep, he finds him. After searching for, seems like 20, 30 episodes looking for the guy, he finally found some in the junkyard. And he, well, this is basically where the Borough Palace is. Finds apparently he's sleeping in a wall. Because he got... Oh yeah, and apparently he makes lettuce that tastes terrible. That apparently his lettuce, the food the guy makes, according to Kinemon, makes us to of course he's happy to see the guy, and makes a bird that doesn't look very well done. And then of course he assists also the prisoners who are there, who are some of the members of the actual Dressrosa army. Okay, and he gets them out, no problem. Despite the fact, well, they draw him pretty terrible. And then of course, well, meanwhile, though, Robin's group, which basically her, Usopp, Hack, yes, Hack, and Rebecca, who are joined by a man named Tank, who's actually part of the Riku army, which he protects her because, well, he's a captain of the royal army. So why not protect a member of the royal family? And so Nikki makes a special spider net ladder based on her hands. And, of course, oh yeah, Bartholomew here is here as well. He, of course, is basically, like, just getting overexcited at the fact he's touching the skin of Nico Robin. Well, part of her hands, anyways. Because, of course, he's a big, huge fan. And eventually, of course, to get to King's Plateau, of course, Rebecca, she reunites with Viola, her aunt, which is an absolute great moment to see. And, of course, we also see the King Riku's seeing the Tattooer tribe first time in a while. And, of course, at the start of this, like, apparently at the end of this, they announce a whole bunch of bounties put on the Straw Hats' heads. They have it where apparently Nico Robin and Rebecca are part of the 1 star. And King Riku is as well. And here's the thing. Guess who has the highest bounty? It's not Luffy. Luffy is a 4 star. Along with Law and Pirate Hunter Zoro. They also have, I think, a Bartholomew on that list as well, along with Viola and Trafalgar Law. But Usopp has actually got the highest bounty, 500 million, just because he knocked out Sugar. Knocked her out, not knocked her up. I highly doubt he would do that to a girl, even though she's actually a few years older than he is. But he wouldn't do it to the little girl, but all because he knocked her out with his face. It's basically spooking her. And that's the reason why Doflamingo put this bounty in. There's also a minor plot thread up here with Bellamy talking to Doflamingo. This lasts for just 1 episode. And that's mostly just set up for what happens later with Bellamy. Of course, the kingdom is basically under chaos. We do see a brief fight between Sabo, yes, Sabo, and Fujitora. Yep. Yeah, there's a brief fight between the two of them. Really good battle. Also, apparently, he brings out one of his meteors, though it can't do full force, so the meteor gets sliced to pieces coming through the bird cage. Yep. Meanwhile, though, Luffy and Law simply just run about trying to get to the palace where Doflamingo is. And of course, they run into various people who want to basically capture him for money. And they come across Luffy's bull, Moosey. Yep, takes a run of the damn thing. And then, of course, they run into various competitors from the action arena. Also, I got to point out, though, Hydron the Giant. Here's something I did not notice, though, to just this back episodes. They replaced the English dub actor for some reason. Yes. Yeah, because his original English dub actor was from episode 609, which is basically his debut, episode 658, was Randy E. Abrador. I'm not real. And of course, currently, get this, it is Chris Guerrero who took over the voice acting. Which I'm like, really? Chris Guerrero? Wow. This makes it, what, like the third or fourth character he's actually voiced in this series? Yeah, of course he voiced Gecko Moria. Let's see. For One Piece. Yeah, he voiced Gecko Moria, and that's one of them. Let's see if I can find him here. Here we go. Let's voice Peckham's. So technically, yes, this is technically the third character he's ever actually voiced in the series. I'm not really sure exactly why he replaced him. If I get a chance to talk to him on Twitch again, I might ask him, like, hey, I saw that you're actually taking over Hingeron, the giant from the current arc of One Piece. Why did you take, like, why are you doing him now? I mean, Gecko Moria is not to come back into the current arc. Peckham's actually comes back, not in this arc, but 2 arcs after this one. Why is he here? Don't know. Great to hear the man's voice. I mean, I am a fan of his work, so happy to see the guy. Everybody else pretty much changes the voice actors. Though this is the first time I've seen it where during a story arc, where they replaced the voice actor in the middle of a story arc. I have never seen this before for One Piece. Now, yes, they have replaced one character has had 2 voice actors before in the Funimation dub, and that was Sabo. Yes, Sabo was originally voiced by Vic Mignola. He's currently voiced by Johnny Bosch, who does a great job voicing the character. At least that one has an explanation of exactly why he was replaced, because Vic Mignola got fired because of sexual harassment. Though, I have heard it's not really true at all. Yeah, apparently somebody in Funimation was basically itching to fire the guy because they didn't like him very much. Though, I'm not going to get into exactly what was the reason for it because it's old news. It happened 3 years ago, so I'm not going to delve into it. Yep. Though, Sabo himself only appears about 2 or 3 episodes in this batch. And that's it. He doesn't do very much. His associate, Killua, she does nothing this whole arc. She doesn't even get a line. Hack gets some line. He doesn't do very much. He does do some fighting, but that's it. Yep. And of course, well, we see Frankie has finally arrived at the Smile Factory, though he has a rematch he has a second round with Senior Pink, where he refers to give him suplexes. And you're probably thinking, what kind of suplexes? Like, apparently he loves giving him German suplexes. I'm not kidding about that. These, like before the German suplexes, apparently he decided to do a surfboard. Yes, it's a move where a wrestler grabs basically the arms and legs and tries to swing it back and forth. That's why I can tell what the move is. I have seen this before on AEW. I think Jungle Boy actually is known for doing this. I don't know if anybody else basically known for doing this in AEW, but this is sort of a submission move, and it's a very difficult move for I can tell to pull off. And these people have to be very careful because if they have their shows pinned to the mat while they do this move, the referee automatically do a pin count 1, 2, 3, and if they're in the move and the person does submit, that they might actually lose the match. Yes, so yeah. Then of course we see the debut of a few new. Well, aside from Conjure himself, there is a few new characters pop up here. One of course is Mounty, a old man who's an aide to the Princess Marberry. And he's obsessed with like finding her. Apparently he's near her for some reason. Not really sure why. He searches the whole factory, can't find her. And of course we see debut of the manager. Oh boy, like it looks like that we have a bit of a lovely looking woman based on the lips and the lovely looking hands. And then we see the actual person. She's an overweight woman. Oh, and by the way, according to the caption, she is 20 years old. Despite the fact she looks a little bit older than that. Oh, by the way, how should she like this? Eat a bunch of sweets. Yep, that's how she got like this. And of course, there's this really cool moment toward the end of the thing. I'll get to Luffy what he's up to. Where after Frankie basically tricks Senior Pink, there's no lady out that way who basically took kill of her. It's like, okay. And of course, he tells the girls, like, I had some urgent business coming, excuse me. And of course, he swims away in the crowd. And then, of course, they give Frankie a chance to fire the ladies' team off. And they end the pencil episode with this. Basically, like, him sticking his big hokey hands through, and then we have that awesome Frankie music, like dun dun dun. It's a really awesome cue. I love the fact that basically that Funimation kept in this music is so awesome. I love Frankie's music. And of course, he opens the door up, and then of course there he is. And of course, he has some of the Tattoo tribe hiding his clothes. Everybody's happy to see each other. Meanwhile, well, prior to this, basically they had convinced the people who were actually in the small factory to turn against the Alex guards, beating them up, and that's the reason why the manager's here. Of course, second up in her, get this, her thing that she basically captures these the members of Tatsuros, she uses a vacuum cleaner. I'm not kidding about that. That's what she does. Basically, almost like she's like she's a freaking Ghostbuster. So vacuum up all the slaves, and then of course, well, Frankie of course gives her a belly-to-belly suplex. Though sideways, of course, but yes, a belly-to-belly suplex. The only wrestler I've ever seen do this is Scott Steiner. So that's how I know what this move is. It's a belly-to-belly suplex. Basically, it's a suplex done from face forward. If I can tell, this is probably more dangerous than doing the German suplex. Yep. And with her on her knees, and she tends to basically run her mouth. So to get her to silence, and of course, I think the blue hair member thinks it's romantic that he is hugging her. And then he says something completely unexpected. Like she's on her knees. Oh, by the way, she's actually taller than he is. It's not like she's bigger than he is. She's like taller than he is. Like, wow, that's quite something. I mean, appearance-wise, she looks like she's about 20 feet tall. Well, she's taller than Frankie. Oh, and by the way, Frankie gets to shut her up by making out with her the big smooch. And everybody's shocked by this. See, your pig's like, well, she's got lips. Guess so. He, of course, is like, good job, got her to shut up. Now we can fight. And of course, this thing about mano a mano. Oh, by the way, get this. When he's basically seeing that there's cats. Apparently the cats are falling over too. I'm like, really? I get the fact he has a bunch of babes basically just doing all the hard eyes, but the cats too? Seriously? And of course, oh, he's so hard-boiled. And then of course the manager gets on it too. It's like, oh, they're a hard-boiled duo. And the thing ends them just about to hit the round 3 of this particular fight. Which I thought this was so hilarious. Meanwhile, though, Luffy, along with several people, this includes Hadron. Also, remember, you also see Billy Gao, the Long Leg Tribe. Yeah, we see a lot of people here. Let's see if we can find them here. Let's see. We have various members of the Straw Hat, basically. Let's see. We see Cavendish, Sai, Ido. Sai is also brother and grandfather. Orbis is here too. Elizabeth, though, his tactician's here as well. And they all want to kill Doflamingo as a repaying his debt. Luffy's like, no, Mingo's mine. And of course, he freaking argue with them, beating up basically a bunch of people. And then, of course, Pika decides to show up here after doing nothing for 10 episodes. He's like, oh, I'm going to do something now. So he decides to go, like, when Luffy first sees him, like, and he speaks, get this, people start laughing. Because he has got, like, a high-pitched voice, which I thought was so funny. Let's see, who voices Pika? Here he is. He is voiced by They don't list his name for some reason. Yes, they probably haven't really announced the credit name for who Pika's voice actor is. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and by the way, they actually go into detail a little bit about Corazon. That name is on Law's back. Yeah, they reveal Corazon is Doflamingo's younger brother, and Doflamingo killed him. Yep. So the two assassins basically team with Luffy and Law, and of course they run about. They run up. Well, Pika, of course, everybody starts laughing. Pika, of course, hates basically people laugh at his voice. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna punch you with my gigantic hand." It's like, oh yeah, and by the way, there's a bit later on where Zoro calls him Soprano Man. Seriously, Soprano Man. Well, that's Christopher Sabat for you for his humor. He is so funny here. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so hilarious. So he's in it. You see him first, actually, his human form for the first time. Like, wow, he looks like about a little bit taller than Frankie. Okay. And then, of course, Luffy hears first for voice time. Then he goes giant size form, or apparently caused sort of an earthquake. And then, of course, well, he tried to use his left arm to punch everybody because they dared to laugh at his voice. And then thanks goodbye my King Elizabeth and Don and Ganbai, who was Sai's grandfather, to destroy one of his arms. And then, of course, they go up the other arm. And, of course, they get past him. And, of course, they climb the plateau. The former soldier, Kiros, basically is hopping around. Of course, people trying to assassinate because of the bounty in his head. He's one of the people who actually stars him. Eventually he meets up with Luffy later on when they're basically on the second level of the plateau. They have to go to the sunflower field. And then they run to Kelly Funk. Yeah, he has this thing called he basically possesses his brother's body because he feels like it. So he then, of course, leads down this particular way. Like, oh yeah, here's a shortcut. It's a well. Yep. And of course, Kelly Funk and his goons are taken out by this mysterious person. Her turns out to be Doflamingo, except this is not Mingo. This is actually another string puppet, basically making the second one they've seen this entire arc. Oh, by the way, how does Luffy get out of the little well? Basically forming the Gum Gum elephant gun. Yes. And that makes a hole, and of course, Luffy gets out of there. Also, Moosey gets wounded, though he tells the two assassins to keep an eye on it. I highly doubt they're getting dues the cow that I can think of. Be it Morgoons, Cavendish decided to basically give him a lift on his horse. And then, of course, the tactician comes with an interesting idea. Have everybody else except for Luffy and Cavendish and Kiros go and take out the executives. First, we see that, well, what's his name? One who constantly has stuff explode here. Let's see. What is his name here? It is... Gladius decided to basically battle Gato, and then of course, well, Dillinger first battles the beheader, then of course he battles Billy Guile briefly. Macbeth battles Sai's brother. Baby 5 battles, she battles like the king, Elizabeth though. Buffalo's not even here for some reason. Leo G takes on, well, the Dawn. Yep. Yep. And of course, then they get to the next level. And then we come across another plot there. These gigantic head crackers, what they're called. Basically giant nutcrackers. What these things are, Well, they don't explain this until like the very next episode. What the heck these things are? They just pop up out of nowhere. It's like, oh look, another like obstacle. Now I do have a theory why Billy Guile is here. Why he's basically fighting against people, and why is it basically, let's say, Sanji here? Well, I took him out of the story so I can have Billy Guile because he's basically a guy who uses his legs to fight, not his arms, his legs. And he does briefly fight. Actually, first it's the Canada guy who briefly fights Dillinger. Then the court. Well, they have very few fight Dillinger. Fight's not over yet, but everybody allows Luffy to pass by, and then of course his thing ends basically, or he's still about him, Keros, and Cavendish are battling the Headcracker soldiers, what they call them anyways. They don't mention the actual episode debut. They mention it in the preview for the next episode. Yep. I gotta say, great batch episodes. Also, before I end it here, we do have it where Viola does finally find the princess in the punishment room behind the chapel. We finally solved that plot thread. Also, how does Nico, Robin, Rebecca, and we also have Bartholomew, who basically, when they find the key and give it to Luffy, they use these special beetles to fly over to where they are. And of course, Zoro basically is still battling Pika because he stays behind. Excuse me. And still calls the Soprano Man, and first he gets like mad, like, "How dare you step on my sword?" Yeah, he's that petty. Yep. Lots of humor here, which is I love the humor here, just so funny. I think that in the case of all the voice actors here, I think Saba is having the most fun out of all the entire voice cast. He is having so much fun dropping all the jokes here. At least he's not dropping baseball references like he did in like one arc. Like when he was beating up Android 19, and when he was voicing Vegeta, he was dropping baseball puns while beating up a robot. Here, it seems like he just basically is quoting basically choir puns. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But it is the start of Zoro's long battle with Pika. This is probably the longest battle of the whole arc. Like, oh my gosh. I think it's last like 20 episodes, if I remember. Yeah, but I don't think it'll be wrapped up in the next batch. I highlight that. It'd be something of it's been a while since I've watched this arc. But yeah, great episodes. Can't wait for next batch, which I don't really know exactly when next batch is coming out because I haven't heard anything. No, not really. Funimation has not said anything about this. I mean, there's been no announcement on exactly when in the world next batches was released. I mean, they just released these episodes just last week. So, who knows? Yes, who knows indeed. Let's see if I can find anything here. Yeah, I don't know when the next one be released, but hopefully it might release soon. I hope so, because, well, it's just basically like, well, it just basically depends exactly when in the world they get released, because, well, even if it's been a week, I highly doubt the next batch of episodes will release like next week. I think it might wait like. My guess is it might make an announcement next week, but I highly doubt they're basically just going to just basically say that, oh yeah, we're going to release next week, even though we just released this batch just last week. But who knows, okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I'm going to do a couple more videos. I was going to do a couple anime tonight, but, well, because of the fact this took a while, and also because I had to use the bathroom earlier, so basically it'd be about 5 anime due tomorrow. Oh yes. Basically it'd be Eden Zero, Yoshihime Princess Half Demon, My Hero Academia, One Piece, and Boruto. And Case Close, roughly 6 anime. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot tomorrow. Okay? This video. Bye.